In episode 6 of season 2 of Good Omens, the shopkeepers Maggie and Nina go to Crowley and tell him in no uncertain terms that he and Aziraphale don't have the right to mess about in other people's lives.
You and your partner have been messing about in our lives.
We're not a game. We're real people. You can't just pair us up for your amusement.
They aren't pieces in a game. Crowley seems almost dumbfounded, trying to defend their meddling by saying it was to help Maggie and Nina with their problems.
You were crying and Nina needed rescuing and...
My relationship just ended. I am not ready to start another one yet. I'll just be a rebound mess.
And it makes sense that he's confused. After all, it's what angels and demons on Earth are meant to do. It's literally their job. They've been meddling in human affairs for 6,000 years, the success rate notwithstanding. And although he and Aziraphale only go along with heaven and hell as far as they can, they both still regularly muck about in human affairs. So I think it's very much in the nature of both Crowley and Aziraphale to use Maggie and Nina in this way without even considering whether the ladies themselves would want them to. Is this an important lesson that our two ineffable idiots and the other angels and demons must learn, or is it just the way it will always be? Will they learn that humanity is not their plaything, nor is the earth their game board? And if so, how will that play into the 90-minute finale? Could it even be a clue as to how the millennia-long war between heaven and hell could finally be ended? As of the end of season 2, both Crowley and Aziraphale have had a taste of the same medicine, a very bitter taste. Of course, heaven and hell had been giving them instructions for the duration on Earth, and had even tried more direct interference via Furfur with the camera in 1941, but Crowley and Aziraphale's recent disagreement, misunderstanding, fight, isn't just a result of their differing viewpoints, as previous ones were. Heaven directly interfered, and, in my opinion, not just to replace Gabriel and launch Armageddon 2.0, but to neutralize the threat posed by Crowley and Aziraphale working together. Meddling in their lives and disrupting their long agreement, their choice to work together, was the point. Heaven in general goes about imposing some silly and sometimes downright harmful situations on humanity, not even accounting for the threat of eternal damnation. Job is a perfect example of this. Here is a couple, Job and Sidis, who are decent people, even by God's standards, just living their lives. Why did God and Satan decide to use this poor, unwitting family as pieces in their game? Nothing more than a handful of poker chips and a bet? The ineffable plan, yes, but if leading by example, what does this teach? That other people are pawns, even down to their own sons, Adam in season 1 and presumably Jesus in season 3. When Crowley and Aziraphale are first sent to Earth, they debate right and wrong, knowledge and violence done in self-protection. Each is concerned about the choices they made when interacting with Adam and Eve. What they don't discuss or seem overly concerned about in this or on future occasions when they are ordered to mess about in human lives is this really their business at all? If humans have free will, why do the forces that run the ineffable bureaucracy, both heaven and hell, continue to interfere and impact people's choices? And if demons and angels do not have free will, then how can they possibly take any action against the ineffable plan? How can they do things like choose to abandon their posts, tell Armageddon 2.0 to suck it, and vanish off to who knows where together? I think these are not just important questions, but fundamental ones that haven't got easy answers. When Maggie and Nina chide Crowley, the audience is like, yeah, good point, the ladies are right. They are people, not toys, and as advanced as his morality is, for a demon, Crowley clearly still has lessons to learn. Aziraphale did not get the benefit of the lecture, since he was busy dealing with how best to respond to the Metatron's offer to become the next Supreme Archangel. However, he got a more first-hand view of the Metatron's interference. Crowley doesn't seem to have understood the underlying threat in the Metatron's offer, thinking they could still just run off together, but I think Aziraphale understood the threat and the meddling clearly. If you're interested in hearing more about the Metatron's underlying threat, please see the video I made on that topic here. In any case, each of them, Crowley and Aziraphale, only got half of this lesson. Because of this, I think Crowley and Aziraphale will need to put the pieces of all of this together, if you see what I mean. And I predict that in the 90-minute finale, that's exactly what could happen. The realization that both heaven and hell have no inherent right to meddle with humanity could spread among the angels and demons spending time on earth to those living in heaven and hell, potentially culminating in some kind of truce. This would immediately impact the war by robbing it of its primary battleground, Earth. Without human souls to sway, the ineffable plan becomes truly and utterly ineffable without any guiding principle or goal, forcing the entire celestial bureaucracy to reckon with a new reality where free will for all, including demons and angels, becomes an accepted reality. For the demons in heaven and hell, this realization could spark an existential crisis. Their fundamental missions are canceled, leaving their bureaucracies without purpose. The question then becomes, will heaven and hell fight on without humans? While their age-old hatred might persist, their war would be drained of cosmic urgency, becoming a distant, self-contained squabble among beings who've lost their reason for existence. On Earth, the end of divine and infernal manipulation would change very little about the daily lives of most humans, but freed from the whispers of good and evil, humanity, and perhaps some occult beings, would finally be free and responsible for their own moral compass. And the future would be one where divine Armageddon is no longer a concern. Humanity could focus on avoiding causing its own end. The planet, no longer a pawn in a cosmic nameless game, would simply be Earth. This shift in the divine order is what would make the personal arcs of Crowley and Aziraphale so pivotal. Their growing understanding of free will enables the wider realization. Their own personal desire for a simple, unmeddled with existence could be the example they lead by. Whether they stay celestial beings at that point, or if they become human, they will have the freedom to simply live in the peaceful, non-meddled with realm that they've grown to love so much.
Northland of Scotland.
Does free will even exist? Is it all predetermined by some ineffable plan or fate? Or is it some combination of these things? Well, people have been asking those questions for nearly as long as there have been people. But I think Good Omens will give us an interesting take on the importance of understanding that even if it is all predetermined, it's still not right to impose our will onto other people, to mess about in their lives without their permission. What do you think? Could this be one avenue to the end of the war and some sort of resolution? Are you a determinist, a compatibilist? Do you believe in free will? All views are welcome. It's one of my favorite philosophical topics, so feel free to share. And if you like sharing your ideas, come on over to our Discord channel where we have a wonderful community where we accept people for who they are and enjoy a good discussion and good company. Over on my Patreon, I am currently going through the nice and accurate official script book with a fine-toothed comb to find all of the hidden changes, cutscenes, Easter eggs, and fun details. I'm posting a new script book analysis video there every Friday for my wonderful patrons who support this hyperfixation, so I can share it with all of you. If you're interested in that, the link is also in the description. My cat Lucifer and I would like to also give a shout out to newest members Mary McCavick, Claire E.B. Ford, Lone Noodle, KD, and a special thank you to our newest Ineffable member, Heather Welch. Thank you to all of my viewers, those who've been around since I started this channel a little more than 2 years ago, and those who've come along ever since. You make this channel what it is, so as always, thanks for watching!